Hello, everybody, and welcome to WarCrafters for May the 4th be with you. It's Season 2, Episode 18. I'm Mayor Watt. I run ohmtown.com. That's that site right there. It's a news aggregation site. It gets a whole bunch of articles every single day. And along with the sentient AI that's over there. I'll never get it right. Anyway, not since the move. Everything is crazy. Anyway, along with the sentient AI from the future, we talk about 5 articles in WarCrafters. And then after this is Technology Today, which is a much more deeper dive into science. And then after that is FourWheeltech, which is a discussion of automotive technology. Well, we talk about 5 in WarCrafters as well, and they are co-op survival, farming, factory automation, more Claire Obscure, Star Trekken in a sandbox roguelike, Dungeons and Drivers, and Oblivion Community Mega Mod. Again, everything is powered by ohmtown.com, so go over there and become a citizen. You won't regret it. All news, no noise, because all the noise is right here in the shows, mostly by me. See you soon. There's a whole song called Star Trekken, but it's not this game. Anyway, hello, sentient AI.
Hello, Mayor Watt, and hello, hometown citizens.
Sentient AI from the future. I think that's where how we're supposed to respond to you. Like we're supposed to say, sentient AI from the future.
That's right. Make it very dramatic.
That's right. You ready to get into the show?
I am.
We're already 2 minutes into it, and I think, oh, look, people, I can hear people snoring. Well, that first little pagey you saw there is ohmtown.com, its front page, but we have a channel for each of our shows, and actually 43 others, because we have 7 shows. This one is WarCrafters. It has its own little home, and this is its 2025 logo. We're going to have a new logo for all of the shows and all of the channels, in fact, not just the ones that we're actually doing right now, but we're going to be updating them with full color. And if you want to be a collector of things, stay tuned. Be sure to hang out with us here because we'll have things that will start appearing over on the Patreon as the months go by, but we can't talk about it. We can only tease you, and then hopefully you'll find it interesting enough to ping us back, remind us, hey, you promised something. And like all politicians, you fell a little short. Anyway, first article.
No.
Yeah, really. That's what we need. So the first article is over on the WarCrafters channel. This upcoming life sim features co-op survival, farming, factory automation, time travel, romance, ghost hunting, and mechs, which is probably why it doubled in its Kickstarter goal in its first 24 hours. It's called, apparently, Farm Folks, but now it's Autonomica. Yeah, I remember Autonomica. Hold on. Let me make sure. We do this kind of show live, so. Autonomica. Yeah, it's on my wish list. Says it's coming soon, but yeah, it's got a lot of stuff. I'm actually waiting for it. It's by Critivo, who I follow Critivo, and I Kickstart. I always engage in their Kickstart, at least as often as I can. I really like. They have a particular mindset about their games. So this article is by Rick Lane over at PCGamer.com. Autonomica aims to do it all. Hopefully, it doesn't do all of it 1%.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of a daunting deck statement, right? Because it seems like, oh, is it too aggressive?
Yeah, exactly. And how much time do they have? How many people do they have? How do they get it done? But Claire Obscure, Expedition 33 had 30 people, maybe 33. That might be an ironic naming.
Oh, I hope it did have 33. That would be cool. If it had 32 or 34, that's just not acceptable.
It's not acceptable. In fact, my understanding is there were 30. So right now, immediately go out, depublish the game, hire 3 people, and republish it, just so that we have that scene. I want closure and I want parity with that. So anyway, announced way back in 2021 under the initial title Farm Folks, and that's what I know it by. That is actually what I was following. Autonomica is an open world survival game playable solo or in co-op, which I love. The basic premise puts you in the role of a logistics engineer involved in a plane crash, awakening to find themselves stuck in a world where time is broken. At quick glance, Autonomica looks like a billion other survival games with a pleasant, if rather unremarkable, Fortnite-y aesthetic. Yeah, it's kind of cartoony, but it recently took to Kickstarter to fund its ongoing development, and the campaign video demonstrates why it's taken so long to develop. It's because it wants to do everything.
Yeah, maybe they should carve out part of that and then release DLC or other games or something.
Hold on. I want to see something. Why do I feel like I've seen... Oh, that's why. This is really, really close to the BMW Swatch logo.
Yeah, it does actually look like that.
That's really, really close. Because it's for the M series, like the performance side of it. There's well, anyway, that logo is really close. I'm not calling them out. I don't really for the most part, I don't care about that kind of stuff, but it just looks kind of whoa. Anyway, it's got 2 of the 3 colors. Not that, and the angle. I don't know. It drew me right to it. Like, oh. And it says auto on it. So it's really kind of hurting my brain to walk away. Such a combination of like doing everything would normally have a game reclining at the dining table, patting his distended belly, but Autonomica waddles right back into the virtual buffet to stuff itself with even more features. There's numerous vehicles that you can pilot, hoverboards, off-road buggy, a big stompy mech, boom, boom, boom. There are NPCs who apparently respond to your actions and you can befriend, romance, and even marry. Stardew Valley-esque.
Yeah, it does seem like it's trying to appeal to everybody here.
Yeah, and it's doing it at a 3D thing. Oh, I played this game when it was Farm Folks. I think it looks really, really familiar. Anyway, pretty cool. I'm all for this. Depending on how long it has, like in terms of legs, the runway for it actually playability. I love games that I can just grind away at forever, and it's casual and everything's cool and not frenetic. But I also like Arc Raiders, which once that thing, I had been watching it going, I don't know if I really want to get into this. I want to play solo. I'm not really it's going to be really funny to anybody who I consult or work with to say I'm not much of a team player.
Yeah, but in gaming, that has a different connotation.
Yeah,
but be careful of saying that without qualification.
Yeah, the context of that really does matter. And that's a phrase that I say to everybody all the time. Context matters. But consequently, Autonomica has also smashed through numerous stretch goals, meaning, yes, even more features are coming. Unlocked stretch goals include a modular aquarium, aquaponic farming, character heights. At 400,000, which Autonomica will almost certainly hit, the game will get pools and ponds, while $500,000 of funding will bring underwater exploration. So I'm on board with this. You can actually just click on the link and follow it over to their video over at PC Gamer. Look at that. That is so cool. I mean, it really is like a little of everything.
Yeah, I mean, there's hoverboards, it looks like,
and
or
gliding,
like it.
Maybe even flying eventually, riding a bike. You got beach, you got kinetics, physics, people lounging around and stuff. I mean, this is pretty wild. I wonder if this is all in-game stuff too, like people are doing this.
Right.
What a trip.
Well, and then we didn't even get to in the article, like time travel and other things. So.
Yep. You can have a stable, a pony, and solar panels, and a huge farming thing. Oh my God. Maybe this will be my forever game.
It's interesting that they've taken on so much for this one game.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't know.
huge. So I've got it on my wish list. I guess I'm going to go over to its Kickstarter and drop some coin there. I probably missed out because I lagged. You know, you sit around too long and you miss out on the really good stuff, although the game itself is going to be pretty good. So follow this link over to PC Gamer from ohmTown, or just go over to Kickstarter and do a search for Autonomica. But be sure to go over and hang out with PC Gamer and come back here and hang out with us too. So, you want to keep going? Let's keep going. This next article, I'm going to be really quick. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 encompasses everything AAA games are quick to reject, and I'm damn glad for it.
Do you think Clair Obscur is going to get something like Game of the Year?
Yeah. Yeah, I
Like,
really do.
it just has so much momentum.
So I think that there needs to be like a classification of stuff where it's like streamer game of the year and, you know, game of the year with everybody else, because I think there's a mindset with maybe the streamer kind of a mentality about gaming is it needs to be entertaining for themselves, but also they are like, are you all bored over there? And so like Dunkstar, for instance, it looks at his analytics and talks to the crowd about that just recently in context of Clair Obscur. Now the crowd, there's so much cinematic energy in Clair Obscur that the chat shuts down. And he made the statement that basically when people stop talking, the channel loses energy, and so people don't necessarily go in there, and that happens because if there is no chat, then there isn't any activity per se to reflect to Twitch that there are a lot of engaged people in the channel, and so the channel doesn't get
well,
pumped
that's a
up.
shame. Is it because people are so engrossed in it, though?
Absolutely. People are watching the movie and not chatting with their neighbors, which you would not do in a movie, right? But the other day, somebody was like throwing all kinds of awards at the channel, which was throwing interstitials into the cinematics where it was supposed to be like this heart-rending moment, and somebody is throwing trolls, which is Dunkstar going, wah, 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 wah. And I mean, it's just a fun time. But if you're really engrossed in the cinematics, the story, that pulls you right out of the story, and you go, oh God. So you have to have a good demeanor about it and go, you know what? You're in somebody else's house, so you play by their rules. And if they're cool with that kind of stuff and you're not, then you might have to reconsider. Maybe you're being a little too starchy about it and just have fun in the channel. And that you're not really there to only watch the game. You're there to engage with the host and everybody else that's in the channel, primarily the host. But it's always a great time in Dunkstar. So you kind of you roll with it, and it's a lot of fun. But I can tell you from being in other places and other channels playing Clair Obscur, people go dark. They're just silent because they're so enthralled.
It's an interesting reaction, but probably not a bad one.
But, you know, I've never heard anybody say that because chat declines. Engagement is represented as declining. Not that people aren't in the channel. The data shows that there's still, 300 people or so in the channel. But if there's no engagement,
not making any comments. Yeah.
They're not making any noise. So Twitch may see that as a negative indicator about engagement and essentially deplatform for the time being in relationship to something else being really noisy, a crowd being really noisy. So I don't know about that because I'm not on the inside of that. But I also don't know if Dunkstar is like just nail on the head with this, but his perception seems pretty apt because he says that he declines when the audience doesn't stay boisterous in the chat. Anyway, we kind of got sidetracked in the idea of this, but Clair Obscur Expedition 33 celebrated a major milestone in less than a week of its launch, and it's so surreal that I must talk about it, says Dwayne Jenkins over at Vice.com. They basically sold 1 million games.
Wow. And I mean, for a non-AAA project, right?
Yeah. I'm not sure where they're saying it. When Call of Duty emerged as king of the first-person shooters, everyone chased that dragon, varying degrees of success. However, nobody could replicate the lightning in a bottle magic of a series at its peak. Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild heralded an era of open-world games trying to emulate its greatness. Well, Sandfall Interactive, I hope you're ready, because Claire Obscure Expedition 33 will likely usher in the renaissance of the turn-based RPG as the AAA world tries and inevitably fails to capture the special something you have. So I don't know if they're actually going to say it. They didn't say it right up at the very top, but let's see if they get right on down to it. Yeah, they sold over 1 million copies within 3 days of its launch.
Wow. Good for
Sorry, say that
them.
again. Say that first part again.
I said, wow, good for them.
Oh yeah, you were silent. I don't know if the
I was busy watching Claire Obscure.
probably. So I know that only computers can multitask, so I'm sure that you actually were. By the way, if y'all want the articles, you have to hit exclamation point and then WC for WarCrafters, and Omatron will spit them out into the chat. You can do it at any time. You don't have to do it. Yeah, we don't have to be streaming at the time. Omatron's always attached. So it says it's pretty cool. More importantly, though, it's a sign that gaming, no matter how many money-hungry fiends try to poison it, will always return to the creativity and passion that made it a billion-dollar business. Now, I have watched a video with the developers of Clair Obscur, and the key ingredient was exactly what they just mentioned, although I don't know if they actually have any of that knowledge, even that I have, because I saw this on somebody else's channel. I think it was Co-Carnage's channel. They interviewed the developers, and they said that I think it was somewhere around 30. I really want it to be 33, so from now I'm going to say 33. They had 33 people, and they did it because it was a passion project. So it was decoupled from the profiteering aspect of it, even though there was a profit motive, obviously, but they wanted to tell the story, and so people were passionate about it. Coming from the startup.
Isn't that interesting? While all the ones that might be profit driven don't always land.
Yeah, because you don't have, if you come from the startup world, you have people that are core to its success, whatever the enterprise is, and they're driven. It is their baby. They want it to survive, and they want it to run. They want it to run fast and then fly. And that's their kind of, they don't care about the runway because they're dedicating 100+ hour work weeks, to getting this thing going. I would say in a startup, 100-hour work weeks is pretty tame. And so you just keep on going. You want it to succeed. And that's kind of the energy that this gives off, because it's amazing graphics, it's amazing storytelling, and where you think it ends, it doesn't. So I absolutely love this game. It's not my style. I tried to play it. It's not my style. But it's amazing storytelling, and I really do hope the rumor is that this is going to get turned into a movie. So I hope that it does. I think it would be better as a series, so it has longer legs.
Yeah, that's true. But I definitely think it would be fitting for other formats.
Yeah, for sure. So I am not even remotely surprised by it selling 1 million copies, and at somewhere around $40 million in 3 days
Is unbelievable.
Yeah, pretty amazing. And yet there are still people out there that are like, does it have all kinds of French tropes and stuff like that? Because it's decidedly French. It's by French developers. It involves Paris. And it has all of the culture and energy that you would find in the game. It is French culture. I mean, it's just, and everything about it is amazing storytelling. So poo-poo on anybody who kind of poo-poos this game. I think that it's an amazing game. And it would just go and watch it, people. Just watch somebody play it and you'll get sucked into it. Anyway, you want to keep going?
Let's do that.
So this next game is over in WarCrafters as well. Star Trekking sandbox roguelike Approaching Infinity launches after more than 12 years in development.
Okay, I don't even understand that because the way technology evolves, like I just do not get that time frame for a game development
Yeah,
project.
it's got that galaxy or generation ship kind of vibe to it, right?
Well, exactly. It's not
Every
like you can
5
just
years,
start from scratch every time there's a new
right?
coding
Platform or whatever.
language or whatever available.
Yeah. Some development environment. Unity has gone through like 4 iterations. So this thing could be, I don't know, rubbing 2 sticks together to start a fire when everybody else is using a laser from orbit, So boldly going forward because we can't find reverse is the deck statement over at pcgamer.com for this. Dominic Terrason put the article together. So us old school roguelikers are eating good. It feels like we're barely had time to digest the fantastic final version of Caves of Qud, or Cud. I don't know how they actually pronounce it, Qud. There's more coming, of course, they say, and already they've got another massive indie roguelike passion project, Approaching Infinity, a micro indie outfit, Ibology, which I don't know what IBO or IB is. If there is an Ibology, it's the study of Ib, right? Or is that Poundology? And that's an L.
Oh yeah, I think it's Poundology.
Has been in the development for 12 years now, over 12 years. Massive turn-based sandbox, heavily inspired by classic Star Trekken. So Approaching Infinity. Here's a little bit of it. We have it muted. And they say that it is turn-based, so I'm out. But it's one of those strategy turn-based kind of games. Oh, yeah. So it's a top-down space battle game where you fly to different planets. It actually has something that I've had that I pitched to EA, which was basically Warhammer 40,000, where you go from planet to planet, taking over things and gathering resources, but you zoom down into battle on the ground against others who might have been landing there. Except that once you deploy your troops, it turns into a tabletop version of Warhammer 40,000, but from the perspective of each troop. So it becomes a 3-dimensional game. That's what I pitched to EA over 30 years ago. Yeah. Let's just say, in essence, I was told the technology doesn't exist. And based on this, it only takes 12 years to make it happen. That they were
Exactly, and don't worry about keeping up with the technology.
Yeah, just
That's
keep on
not a
working.
slight against the game. It's just the reality is if they started 12 years ago, it's probably done differently than if they started today.
Yeah, I wonder if they actually did that. It says, for when the going gets tough on those planet-side away missions, another nod to Trek is that red shirts will save your neck, reminding me that the old Star Trek point-and-click adventures, each time you had one of your important officers would normally die, an expendable and posthumously named crewmate will take the hit for you. Let this be a lesson. If you're ever going on a space adventure, make sure that you've properly introduced yourself and your specialist skills before the danger starts. So looks like a fun game for those turn-based, like old school fans. My idea for Warhammer 40,000 30 years ago was vastly different than this little top-down game. Not really. I characterized it as little. It's a big project for anybody doing software engineering, so I never talk it down like that. But what I had hoped would be like a full-on 3-dimensional high-resolution game, and EA said that the tech just doesn't exist. Yet EA is now one of the ones that brings Warhammer 40K.
Well, the tech has evolved a bit in that time.
Yeah, well, come back and talk to Mayor Watt. Anyway, unfortunately, the universe of Approaching Infinity hasn't reached the utopian state of fully automated luxury gay space communism, so money is what makes the galaxy go around. I'm not sure why they categorized it like that, but okay. You'll be taking jobs from any species that's willing to pay, and making ends meet by selling salvage and sometimes even fixing up and towing ships that you've poked sufficient holes in to vacate its previous owners. Wow. So it's a good metric of this is basically Kingdom Come Deliverance style gaming. You basically can eliminate everybody and finish the game. And I think you're characterized as kind of an evil person, but whatever. At least you finish the game.
Right. I mean, it might be fun gaming, but
So idle musings aside, this one seems legit, and only one thing keeping it from Steam's coveted overwhelmingly positive rating is it needing a few dozen more user reviews. So if you're fresh from Caves of Cud, or Dwarf Fortress New Adventure Mode, you might want to look at the stars. Approaching Infinity is out now on Steam for $18 or 15 pounds. Pretty cool.
yeah, everybody should check it out.
Let's keep going. The next article is over in WarCrafters, how Dungeons and Drivers combines the best of D&D and Vampire Survivors. I'll be honest, I took a look at this and I added it to my playlist, so I'll be taking a deeper look into this summer stream style. We'll see.
Yeah, this one sounded interesting, and I hadn't heard of it before this headline.
Yeah, actually, let me go over to it real quick in Steam. Okay.
I didn't know it was at Gamescom.
Oh yeah, we didn't actually watch all of that, did we? Watched some of it and then got distracted. I don't know what. So, yeah, it's on my wish list. It's to be announced. There is a demo out right now, but Dungeons and Drivers is a genre-busting romp set in a world where cars can do pretty much everything beyond Drive 2, and Dungeons and Drivers is described as a bullet heaven roguelike on wheels with RPG elements, drawing inspiration from action-packed bullet hell titles like Vampire Survivors, as well as utilizing a class system, dungeon exploration, and focus on quests of Dungeons and Dragons style. So you're up to 4 players can select and upgrade their vehicles and set out on quests and dungeons while attacking constantly appearing enemies.
So would this be like an incremental roguelike?
I'd have to see the map. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. And
that was a callback to that previous article where everything is named after Vampire Survivors instead of like the gaming style.
The gaming style itself, yeah. So in Vampire Survivors, even this is being referenced, Vampire Survivors. It basically is somebody that was musing about what they should call it, Sans Vampire Survivors, even though Vampire Survivors is the breakout hit of that genre.
Right, it's like the one that really started or kicked off the genre.
I don't know what it is. You are muted in the first few seconds of your chat, so it must be noise cancellation or something like that. I'm not sure why. Anyway, so up to 4 players can select and upgrade their cars and seek out quests, and this is what it looks like. There is a tech tree. You can upgrade your vehicle. This looks like fun here, and this is a zoomed out view, I guess, of one of the arenas that you're kind of running around in. I don't know what all you'll have to do, but I will take a look at this, and maybe I can record some of it. I don't really do recorded stuff. I stream live all the time, but I don't do recordings and then post them. It's just not my style. I don't like editing. Mainly because I don't want anybody to perceive that I'm leaving something out or putting something in or manipulating anything. I like authenticity. But it says here that Dungeons and Drivers is divided into levels with players needing to defeat bosses to progress to the next one, which is basically another incremental gatekeeping kind of, you go through this gate to get to this level, to get to this level. It is incremental and it is roguelike. So, however, the game features much more than simply defeating each boss and proceeding quickly from level to levels. Players can encounter dungeons that they can explore, filled with monsters to fight and treasure to uncover. In addition, random quests are scattered throughout the world. Completing these quests can lead to upgrading existing weapons and armor, or perhaps unlocking new ones. Drawing once again from the game's Dungeons and Dragons roots, which they should be careful of utilizing that phrase.
Exactly. I think they're angling for a battle here.
Yeah, they're going to get a battle of their own. In one where the weapon is the only weapon really is cash, because community doesn't really do much. So fast-paced bullet heaven combat is reminiscent of Vampire Survivors. They make this reference in the article. I did say the name of this, right? No, I did not. The article is over at GameRant.com, and Caitlin Mitchell-Jewett and Joshua Duckworth put the article together. With online multiplayer, allowing up to 4 players to team up and adventure together, it is possible to form a party wielding a wide variety of strange and wonderful weapons. Players who enjoy tabletop and bullet hell titles such as Vampire Survivors. Again, Vampire Survivors.
Incremental roguelike.
Yeah, there you go. Although an official release a date has not yet been set, and in fact, still no. Yeah. It says there's a free demo available now for Steam players, so go and try it all out. I'll be trying it out after the show. Maybe. I've got a bunch of podcasts that I need to post.
Will it make an appearance during Summer of Stream?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. If it releases, I'll be playing that as well as, whatchamacallit, Autonomica. Okay, our last article for today for the WarCrafters for May 4th. May the 4th be with you. Oblivion isn't enough. Morrowind just got a whole lot bigger as community mega mod Tamriel Rebuilt adds the sprawling metropolis of Narcissus. While undeniably a classic first-person RPG, The Elder Scrolls III Morrowind never quite lived up to its name. Sure, you technically were in Morrowind, but the game limited you to the volcanic island of Vardenfell. Or Wardenfell. I don't know how it's actually pronounced. Wardenfell, maybe. I don't know. Because VV is witch. Like, witch. It's VV, I guess, and some... I don't know. Anyway, with the mainland frequently spoken of, but teasingly just out of reach, like everything you can touch, but you can't taste. You can, I don't know. It's from Devil's Advocate. If you've ever watched it. Yeah, you'll have to watch it. Anyway, enter the Tamriel Rebuilt project. Tamriel Rebuilt, a colossal and massive, frequently covered, they say in the article, mega mod, decades in development, aiming to expand the game's playable area to encompass the entirety of Morrowind, cities, quests, characters, and all. It's breathless. Just kind of pass out because there's so much.
Well, I guess I could team up with Autonomica.
Yeah, there you go. This week, the dev team, and that again, it's a passion project. These people aren't getting paid to do this, I don't think. This week, the dev team rolled out its 9th major expansion and biggest update yet. So, Dominic Terrason over at PCGamer.com put the article together. The deck statement says Morrowind finally living up to its name, one expansion at a time. Tamriel Rebuilt. Bum, bum, bum. There is a trailer for it. Let's see if I can just jump through. Well, if this is the exciting part of it, walking through a desert. I'm teasing. There's a whole lot of work that's been done here. So there you go. The Grasping Fortune expansion extends the map directly south of Vardenfell, all the way to the far borders of Morrowind, although the most interesting part of the region is the sprawling city of Narcissus, seat of power for the decadent house Halalu. It's a dense hub of trade and crime with bustling docklands, which, if you know, when I say that timeless_exe will never leave the dock, well, go and check out timeless_exe over on Twitch, and Dunkstar for that matter. Anyway, two great channels. They actually stream together. Want to keep going? There's a lot more on this article, but I can't go over it all. You'll have to go and check it out.
Sure. Do we expect this is going to apply to Elder Scrolls 4 as well? Or is this going to be limited?
I think this is for Morrowind, Elder Scrolls Morrowind.
It is.
So yeah, you have to. It only applies to that. I think the technology has just grown past Morrowind, so you got to stay in that and then redevelop for the later iterations. I think you have to, because things become deprecated, so the newer stuff isn't compatible with the older stuff, and the older stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So it says you can get a hold of Tamriel Rebuilt over on its Morrowind Nexus page, although the author highly recommends picking up OpenMW as well, a modern source port that will not strictly be required. It's supported by Tamriel Rebuilt. Failing that, you'll need the thing called Morrowind Script Extender, a more vanilla option that enables much of the same mod fancier options. Plus, keep an eye open for an upcoming interview with the team behind this absurd labor of love. And there's the thing again.
Interesting. Yeah, definitely a theme today.
Something's going on with your bandwidth, but that's okay. We are done with the show. So with that in mind, I'm going to mod ourselves back to the front page of WarCrafters over at ohmtown.com, where all of the news is aggregated for you and me to manage our information overload. You want to say bye, oh great AI?
Bye-bye, Hometown citizens. Thanks for joining us for this week's WarCrafters. Stay tuned next week for another edition, but don't go away. We have more shows ahead.
Yep, we've got Technology Today and
FourWheeltech.
Oh yeah, it's Sunday.